Well, speaking of more, you are releasing your third 4K in August, which is terrific. It's going to be your third one in the course of about less than a year. What can you tell us about this one?
Well, I'd like to give credit where credit is due. This is our release of a major restoration effort that was undertaken under license from us by the British Film Institute. One of the very most important British films of the last 50 years, Get Carter, starring Michael Caine. The British Film Institute, they're wonderful, wonderful people, wonderful to work with. And they pulled out all the stops to make a 4K UHD HDR amazing special edition of Get Carter. And part of our agreement was that they would give us access to their work on the feature. So it was a collaborative effort. We scanned the negative and they did beautiful, beautiful work. They were kind enough to give us access to several of the special features that they had in their deluxe edition. Not all of them were they able to share with us, but many of them were. So this is a very loaded disc. It's a 4K disc, BD100, high bit rate, of course, disc production, encoding, authoring, compression done by Fidelity in Motion. David Mackenzie is the best. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We're so lucky to be working with him. And the presentation is loaded with lots of extra features. And yet we keep the high bit rate on the BD100 for the 4K HDR UHD presentation, which has Dolby Vision and HDR10. But the Blu-ray, which is on the BD50, is the same remaster with the same content in terms of special features. So when you buy the combo, if you haven't gotten your 4K set yet, you have that disc waiting for you when you upgrade, but you can get that new remastered Blu-ray in this presentation. And the film itself was directed by a gentleman named Mike Hodges, who just passed away in the last few years. I got to speak with him on the phone several times. It was his, I would say, dying wish, because I believe he was in his 90s at the time, to see this film get properly anointed the way the BFI did. And they not only created this amazing special edition, they also toured the film throughout the UK. We had released our own, not Warner Archive, but Warner Home Video had released a Blu-ray of the feature, I would say probably a little over 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, might have been 10. But that had an Americanized audio track where the Cockney accents had been kind of minimized to be more understandable British accents by certain players. And that was an appropriate choice for 1970. But our domestic Blu-ray had that track, and it really should have had both. What we've offered here is the original UK track, thanks to the work done by the BFI. So I really want to be clear that the reason we are releasing this through the Warner Archive is to give the proper treatment to all the work that the BFI did. And I want to thank all the folks at the BFI for their incredible generosity in sharing these elements with us so that we could make a US disc with a 4K Blu-ray combo that was affordable and that had plenty of special features that speak to the excellence of this British crime drama. Because if you only think of Michael Caine in his delightfully fun he had so many roles where you just loved him because he was, the Cider House Rules and all the films that came before. He plays a ruthless killer. Now, the irony of it is this film was remade into a blaxploitation film that we just put out a few months ago, Hitman. MGM was they were very anxious to repurpose the property for a different audience, and that's all well and good. But this is the original. It's not sanitized, it's rated R, and it's exactly how the film premiered in the UK with its original audio, and it's mono because of that. There's no Atmos, there's no remix. It looks and sounds tremendous because the BFI did a beautiful job restoring it from the original negative. And I think people will be very much appreciative of the fact that this work is now available. Courtesy of the BFI's work, the colors are tight and they snap, and it looks really, really good. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to add to your library at a very reasonable price. So that's Get Carter.
Well, as you mentioned, there is just a load of extras. We won't go through all of them here, but
that would take a whole podcast just to talk about.
It's a lot. So this is going to be a great release, and it's really great to hear about the partnership between the Warner Archive, Warner Brothers, and the BFI in this instance for this release.